Everyone. I'm very happy to be here today with the Clippers. My name is Nandini Nair, and I'm here at the invitation of a very enthusiastic young man named Riyadh. Thank you, Riyadh, and thanks to the Clippers for inviting me to come here and to speak about my journey as an author, my books, and why I think all children should read. So, like I said, my name is Nandini Nair and I live in Hyderabad. I write books for children. So, the question is, how did I start on this journey of writing for children? In my childhood, I was a very enthusiastic and a voracious reader. Books weren't that easily available in those days. There were a couple of magazines which my parents subscribed for me and for my brother. In addition, there was a lending library which was like a very pokey, dark little place, but oh, how we enjoyed reading the books there. And I read whatever I could lay my hands on. And if I liked one author, I went looking for all the other books by that particular author. And very often, because of a lack of reading material, I ended up reading the same books over and over again. And during this time, I think like every other person who loves reading, the thought did cross my mind that I would like to be a writer. In fact, I remember one year when it was my mother's birthday, and we had no pocket money in those days, and I couldn't think of what I could give her. I wrote her a story in an old notebook, and I wrote a poem about her where I rhymed bear with deer or something like that, and I gave it to her and she was very happy with it. But it was much later when I actually started writing in my school and college days. Especially in my college days, I was writing a lot of little poems, sort of serious poems, but I made no attempt to collect them or work on them or any of those things. It was much later that I wrote a story, and that story was published in the children's pages of a newspaper. And the moment that I saw my name in the newspaper, I still remember how amazing, how astounding it felt to think that a story, what is a story? It's something so invisible. It is invisible, it's just born in your brain, and you work on it and you make something of it, and you make it so good that people are ready to publish it, they're ready to pay you for it, and then there are others who read it and like it. So for me, the person who told me that he liked it was a student of mine. So I am a trained teacher, and I was teaching in a school at that time. I had no clue that the story had been published. I had written it and I had sent it off to the newspaper, and I imagined that it would take like maybe a year or 2 years for it to get published. And to my surprise, this boy came up to me and said, "Ma'am, I really liked your story." And I was puzzled. I said, "Which story are you talking about?" And he said, "The one that appeared in the newspaper." So you can imagine how I ran eagerly to a friend's house because I had been out of town, so I didn't even have the newspaper, and how I felt when I saw my name in the newspaper. And from that day, I began to write with real seriousness. I wrote a lot in this period. I wrote short stories, I wrote book reviews, I wrote non-fiction pieces for this newspaper. And this is something I have continued. I still write for newspapers. I enjoy the challenge of writing short stories. And the last time I counted how many short stories I had done for the newspapers or magazines, it was about 300 and over. So I haven't had the time to really sit down and count it because there are just so many stories I do want to write. So I've written for the Hindu, Sakar Times, which was coming out of Pune, the Hitavad, which is a Nagpur-based newspaper, Deccan Herald, and then I have contributed stories to Dimdima, to a couple of stories to Champak, Children's World, Tinkle, the children's magazine. So these are some of the places, Hoot and Toot, which sadly are no longer in publication. So this was how my journey as a writer began. And then the first book of mine that was actually published was a picture book. Now remember, I was telling you how I got to write books for children of different ages. So the picture books are meant for the youngest child, so they have lots of pictures and very little text. And I had an amazing reason for writing these. I had a son by then, and I had to keep him entertained. And we didn't own a TV at that time. We didn't believe in a TV. We got a TV much later, and that's why I think my son grew up to be a really voracious reader. So I had to entertain him, and so I made up stories for him. about him. And so the first book that was published was a story about him. It's called Pranav's Picture, and so it came out 14 years back. 14 15 years back, 2005, and it's still in print. It's been reprinted 17 18 times. And the second book which came out, which was again a story written for my son, is this one. It's called What Shall I Make? And this book, like Pranav's Picture, has had a lot of love from its readers. It has been published not just in India. In India itself, it's been published and reprinted, some 17, 18 times, I don't remember. It's also been published in the US and in the United Kingdom, Canada, in Pakistan. And it's an amazing book. I mean, I still enjoy reading it, and I really enjoy doing sessions with this when I meet children. So I'm just showing you some of my books, the picture books. So this is a picture book called Guddu's Photo. I just love doing this when I do sessions with children, because they all shout with me when I say smile to Guddu. So Guddu is this boy who refuses to smile when his mother wants to take a picture of him. So I encourage my audience to shout with me, and we all shout smile, trying to get little Guddu to smile. Does he really smile in the end? You'll have to read the book to find out. Mouse and Bear. This is a book I absolutely loved working on, and this book won a prize in the Children's Book Trust competition organized for children's writers, and the prize was that it would be published. So this is something I just adored working on. It's about a mouse who thinks that he only has enough room in his house for himself, enough food just for himself, and doesn't want to share it, and how he changes his mind. I think this is the idea of sharing is something we all have to get used to. This is my latest picture book. It is my 28th baby, my 28th picture book. I've written 28 picture books, and again, this is based on an idea that I feel very passionately about, how we can recycle the things we have in our house. The attitude of just using and throwing things away is not something I'm very happy with, because I grew up in a house where nothing was thrown away, and that's the idea that I've kind of distilled into this story. I loved writing this too. Chotu and the Big Wind. This was published about 3-4 years back. Again, a story I loved working on. It blends reality and imagination in a way that I find very satisfying as a writer, the way I worked on it. Where is Amma? Oh, this is again a story that has won a lot of love for me from readers. They all love the idea of a little boy. They all feel very strongly, when they read the story of a little boy who goes looking for his mother because he can't find her in the house, and then he thinks he finds her in the most unexpected place, and what happens? So this was something again that I still enjoy doing these sessions, because the minute I say that Kiran was looking for his mother, all the children look around and see if their mothers are around. So this is another of my very favorite books. This is a book published by Pratham, and again it was written when my son was small, and we seemed to be constantly hungry and running up and down and doing things. So again, a book that I really enjoyed. So these are just some of the picture books that I have written for children, and these are meant for the earliest readers, because they have lots of pictures and they have very little text, and the pictures and the text work together. Now, what happens when a child has become an independent reader? In the sense, the child has started reading on his own. You need stories which are simple, straightforward, but at the same time they tell they have a good plot at the center. And that's how I wrote these two books about this little girl called Minnie. These are the first two books in the Minnie series. There's a third one which I have written. So perhaps when the world gets back to some kind of normal, I hope it will be out. But Minnie's Money is a story of a 5-year-old girl, and what happens when she's gifted some money and she tries to think of how she would like to use this money. She's given it this money for Dasara, and she's being, she has to make a decision about how to spend the money. And Minnie's question, I just loved writing this story because I think that questions are the best way that we can learn about the world. And all too often, the people are either too shy to ask questions, or it just doesn't occur to them that they should ask questions. And I feel that such people lose a wonderful opportunity to learn a lot more about the world. So, Minnie, because I had control of her, asks a lot of questions. I mean, I am the kind of person who asks questions all the time. And several of my books have questions in their titles, what shall I make? Where did it go? Where is Amma? Where shall we go? What could it be? What will you give me? So, yes, I do believe that questions are an important way for us to learn about the world and to, increase our knowledge. The other age group that I have written for is the children who are now confident readers. So the 10 plus age group, and I have lots and lots of books for them. So let me first show you the non-fiction that I did. So these are biographies. I did two biographies, one of Shivaji and one of Rani Lakshmi Bai. And I took on this project because I had never written non-fiction until that point, and I was really nervous about doing it. But to my surprise, the research that I did for these books was so much fun. I never thought research, work could be so much fun, that I actually didn't want to get down to writing the books, but I did write them, and I'm glad I did, because children seem to enjoy reading about these famous personalities written as if they are ordinary people. So they're presented in a way that makes you feel like you get to know them, instead of presenting them only as dry figures out of a history book. So I'm really glad I did these books. And then I have these, what is called retellings. So retellings are basically books which are famous and which children will benefit from reading, but which are perhaps a little too challenging for them. So this we all know, the Father of the Nation, his autobiography, the story of my experiments with truth, which I brought down into a much smaller and handleable format, so children too could get an introduction to his thoughts and the message that his life carried. And this is another book, I really enjoyed reading it and working on it, because the notions of what a country is and what it means, Tagore has really brought it out very well. In addition to that, of course, I have a whole lot of other books. Yeah, and there are more. I didn't bring all of them. So there is The Chicken That Started It All. And then I have these four books, again, books that I absolutely loved writing. So these four books are the books in the Diary of an Indian Schoolgirl series. So this is a series, and the protagonist, the main character, is this girl named Apurva Joshi, who is teased for being plump, and because she's got curly hair and because she's brown skinned, and then she starts wearing glasses, so she gets teased. And these are written in the form of a diary account. So they are a lot of fun to read, and I had such fun writing them, because I put in knock knock jokes, I put in elephant jokes, I put in school jokes, I put in a whole lot of stuff. And I'm very happy when children come up to me and say that what happened to Apurva was not nice. Apurva shouldn't get teased, because I think that unless children get it themselves, understand it for themselves, that teasing people because they look different, whether it's their skin color or their features, or whether they're too skinny or too fat, or whether it's the way they speak, if they stammer or limp, I think it's one of the cruelest things. And as parents, it is necessary that we raise sensitive children who understand the harm that is caused by this. So these were books that I enjoyed, because I got to write about those things, and I got to relive my childhood and put in the events that used to fill me with dismay when I was a child. And then I also loved writing ghost stories. So these are the two that I have right now. But in addition to this, I also have an ebook called Don't Tell Your Mother, which is another book that I had so much fun writing. And I have this historical book, which is based on the uprising of 1857. So it's called When Children Make History, and how children are involved in what happened in 1857. It's completely fictional, but this is another book that I did a lot of research for, and I enjoyed enormously. So these were just some of my books. You can check out my website. It's nadininair.in to find out more about my other books. In addition to this, I also work on English language textbooks, which is again a very different kind of writing, but still a writing that gives me a lot of joy and a lot of satisfaction. So the question that I'm always asked is, why should children read books? Because in India, somehow we think that reading is only studying. You know, the reading idea of reading for pleasure is very different. It's something difficult for people to digest. I think that what the world reads right now is a lot of kindness, and it needs people to have empathy for others, you know, the ability to feel another person's pain, the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes and find out what they are going through. And stories are the best way to introduce this to children, because when you read a story, for the time being, you are not a boy or a girl, or you're not somebody who lives in a certain part of the world and speaks a certain language. You are free to become the characters in your books. You're free to do exactly what you feel like doing along with the characters in your books. So I think the stories, books allow children to imagine different realities, and such children grow up to be people who with a large amount of kindness and definitely huge reserves of empathy, which is what we require in the world today, because we're so busy, trying to just kind of see the different ways in which we are not like others, that we don't have any time to imagine what the other person is going through. So this is one of the primary reasons, and of course reading is such pleasure. It is like opening a door and entering a world that is completely different from the world you live in. And I have amazingly fond memories of my own childhood, where joy meant rushing home from school and throwing away everything and changing into your home clothes, finding some good snack, and then lying down in bed and losing yourself in the latest book that you held. And I hope that all children around me now, they develop this and they enjoy the beauty of reading books. Now, the other question is, when should a child start reading? You're not going to believe this, but I think that a child is ready to listen to stories right from the time he is or she is, a few months old, because you're talking to the child. So I would suggest you begin talking to the child and narrating stories to them. Who knows, like me, you may end up with books, because that's how I started with my books. I mean, I was writing stories, but it was when my son was born that I found I had to create stories, and every day I was creating a new story to make a bath time fun, to make sure that he ate his lunch properly, to make sure that he did whatever I asked him to. So there was a story for every occasion. So you can start when your child is just a few months old, and then go on to buying the books for them when they are a little older, because this is one of the things I've heard is parents say, oh, but the child will tear the books, what can we do? Your child will not. Your child will not. My son never did, and I'm sure yours will not too. So just make sure that you sit with your child and show them the wonders that books hold, and you will have a reader for life. Okay, so I hope that you had as much fun as I did talking about my journey as a writer. If you have something to say to me, do write to me on my Facebook author page, and do check out my website for more information about my other books. So once again, Riyadh, thank you so much for your persistence and your patience, and thanks to the Clippers for inviting me to be a part of this lovely journey of writing. Thank you.